Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda and this is my channel, Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life. And today we are kicking off the week 19 reading vlog. And I actually have some updates first thing. So I just finished listening to Before by Anna Todd on Scribd. And it's the last book in the After series that she wrote, which was apparently Harry Styles fan fiction. And I still don't know what makes it Harry Styles fan fiction other than the fact that the main character, the main male character is British and has tattoos. That's the only comparison I can see. But Before is basically most of the story of After told from Hardin's point of view, and then we do kind of, after the events of After, we kind of fast forward into to the end of what After Ever Happy was, all from Hardin's point of view. I don't honestly feel like this book was really necessary. I think unless you really like Hardin as a character, you don't need to read it because it's basically the same story. I mean, it is the same story. And because we get Hardin's point of view throughout the series, I don't think this was anything new at all, really. So it is what it is. I am glad to have the series wrapped up. It's officially the second series of my 12 ongoing series that I have completed this year. And the whole month of May, my goal is to will participate in the Finish-a-thon, which is a readathon being hosted by my friend Darshell at Books and Planners. And it's basically finishing or progressing in series that you already have ongoing. So I finished out the first one for the month. I have since just started listening to Written in My Own Heart's Blood by Diana Gabaldon, also on Scribd. I read Outlander via Kindle book a couple years ago, and then struggled to make it through Dragonflight and Amber as a physical book because these things are chunky. Like, this is the biggest, maybe the 7th is the biggest one, but this is one of the biggest ones. And it's even the big edition, not even the mass market paperback version. And I was struggling to get through it. So I finally caved and started listening to them on audiobook. And it's been a go-to since. So I am enjoying these via audiobook and excited to see what happens with the events in this book. Right now they're, I think, in Philadelphia. I'm pretty sure. I know they just said Ian was in between the mountains, in the forest between Philadelphia and somewhere else that I can't remember. Some fort probably. But yeah, really interesting to see how this wraps up. Though I have recently, like within the past couple of months, found out that this is not actually the last book in the series. She is writing another one. I think Bees is in the title. I don't know what the title is though, and I think it's expected to be out at the end of this year, but I'm not 100% sure. But it was going to be my goal to finish this book before I went to Scotland, which, if you're keeping up with my vlogs, you know is not happening anymore. I was supposed to leave in 13 days, not that I'm counting down or anything. And it was my goal to have this book finished before we left because we had an Outlander tour scheduled from Inverness with a gentleman named Dougie. So when we get to go, I am 100% rebooking with Dougie. I obviously can't give like a recommendation for his tour because I've never been on it, but if I remember, I will leave his information in the description box below. I think it's Highland Tours might be the company he's with or something. It's a company that he just runs, and he does, I think, different kinds of tours, but we were specifically looking at the Outlander one, which would take us to a few like key places in the books. I know the Culloden Battlefield was one of them, which is maybe like 30 minutes from Inverness. and things like that. So really looking forward to having this wrapped up, and especially because I don't know, I know the TV series is in the 5th season right now. I don't know if they're almost done with it or like midway, but Skylar actually said that he would watch the Outlander TV series with me, so really want to get that wrapped up so that we can start watching it, because I've not seen a single episode, and that is what prompted me to want to read the books to begin with. So I'm going to say it one last time, really excited to see where this book goes and get this wrapped up. Hopefully be able to do it in a week. This is a 45-hour audiobook though, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. And then I also still have You Know You Love Me going by Cicely von Ziegler, which is including the prequel, it is the 3rd book in the Gossip Girl series. I am about halfway through with that. And then today I am also going to start Vanishing Hour by Lisa King, which is a buddy read I'm doing with my friend Eric at Break Even Books, and then 2 other people. Beginning of April, he put out a tweet asking if anyone wanted to buddy read it with him, because Lisa King is a Canadian author, and I know on the Canadian Amazon, the Kindle book was free, so he was asking if anyone wanted to do a buddy read, and I know those 2 had wanted to do it or had shown interest. So we are going to start that today. We've got it planned to read for 7 days, and my Kindle version, on Goodreads, there's a Kindle version and a hardcover version. My Kindle ebook does not have a page count in it, so I broke it down by chapters. I think there's 63 chapters, so amongst 7 days, it's an even 9 chapters a day. And it seems like with my Kindle, it shows location. And those locations seem to be fairly even sections, so I think it'll be okay. Some will be a little heavier than others, but what I know is this is a dystopian book. I'm not sure if it's post-apocalyptic or what, but there is an old man and a young girl. I want to say the girl's around the age of 11. And they, I think they're like one of the last people around. Like their families aren't anywhere, and I don't know if there's anyone in the like nearby vicinity to them. But I think there is some sort of like a call or a beckon for the survivors to come to a specific place, which to me reminds me of in The Walking Dead, when they start seeing the signs for, what was that called? The Sanctuary? It wasn't called the Sanctuary, but the place that was supposed to be like new for protection for people and things like that. So that's what I kind of got of the synopsis from what I was reading. I read it about a month ago though, and that's how I keep summarizing it. So we'll see what's actually true and what's not once I get into it. Which means that I will have 3 books going by the end of today. 1 audiobook, 1 physical paperback, and 1 physical ebook. So lots of reading to be done. 3 different genres, which I like better than having multiple genres, or like having than multiple books of the same genre. It'll be easier to keep things separate. And surprisingly, none of them are fantasy, which is my favorite genre. We've got a contemporary, a historical fiction, and then a dystopian. So we'll see how it goes. But that's about it for my update right now. I am getting off work a little early. I had to be on for a 5 o'clock call this morning to talk about new changes being made to the business. I'm not very happy about them. Looks like I'm going to have a 20% reduction in my hours, as well as a 20% reduction in my pay, which, if I'm being completely honest, which I want to be, makes me a little angry because the people who have been furloughed from my business are, not to say that they're being lazy, but they're getting 80% of their pay as well to sit around at home, and I'm getting 80% of my pay to still have to work. I guess it's still considered full-time, isn't it? 32 hours? I don't really know. I'm very fortunate to have a job. I'm very fortunate to not have to apply for unemployment at this time, but if I'm being completely honest, it is irritating to know that I could also be at home, not working, working on my home, getting back into school and doing those other things that my other coworkers get to do, getting paid. I would actually be getting paid more money than I am now if I went on unemployment because of the, in Washington State, I know it might be in the US, they're tacking on an extra like $600 on top of like what you're already getting for the 80% of your salary. So I would be making more money, and that's frustrating. But I also am very conscious that I am in a good position because I mean, not that the work I do is essential, but I guess at this point I'm an essential employee because they haven't let me go yet. But I'm frustrated. Trying not to dwell on it too much because it could be a lot worse. At least I still get health insurance. At least I still have my job. You know, I'm still getting money, and we're not going to be hurting by me losing 20% of my income. It just makes it so that I don't get to put as much money towards savings and all that other stuff. But not to end on that sour note, I'll be getting off early is the whole point of this, and I need to move my car for Skylar so that he can park in the driveway, and I'm going to need to practice my violin. And then other than that, we'll probably spend the evening together. We watched The Sopranos last night. I don't know if he's gonna want to play some video games with his coworkers or if he is going to want to watch TV again or what. But if I have another reading update, I'll try and update you tonight. If not, I should definitely have some sort of update tomorrow because I'll be starting a book that I know nothing about. And it'll be nice to actually give you a bit of a synopsis once I've read and I know what it's about versus what I'm trying to remember. So I will get back to it and check in with you here soon. I managed to finish a second book yesterday, which was You Know You Love Me by Cicely von Ziegler. This gets me a little further in my reread of the first couple of books of Gossip Girl. So glad to have that done. Gave it a 2-star read. It, again, just lots of repetition, lots of girl hating. There's a bulimic character in this, so that could be bothersome. And there's cheating and just a whole bunch of other things. So, yeah, like I said, these books don't hold up well, but I wanted to finish them just because I own the entire series and I've had them for like 10 years now. And my mom bought them for me back a birthday a long time ago. And so I want to actually read the books that she had bought me. And I need to do a reread of the first couple. That way I can finish out the series. So another one down. I also started Vanishing Hour yesterday with Eric. One of the people that we were doing a buddy read with had to drop out. And I haven't heard from the other person we're doing the buddy read with yet. I don't think she has actually started. At least it didn't look like it. We had checked in yesterday and she hadn't started reading. It sounded like she kind of forgot about it. So Eric just said that he finished today's portion. I know he cheated a little bit and started it last night after reading that portion, but he's also got a bookshelf to build, so he's off the hook. And it's his buddy read, so he can go whatever pace he wants. But it's been a really quick read. I think I mentioned yesterday my Kindle ebook copy doesn't show the page count. It just shows like the location, which is hard to figure out and track. And so I kind of think, because I do have like my reading speed on, in each section or each chapter only takes like 6 minutes max. So I want to say these chapters are all like 5 pages or less. So it was really quick to get through the first 9 chapters. I thought it would take a little bit more time, but it's not looking like it's going to be the case. We've already met our 2 main characters, our 70-something-year-old man and our 12-year-old girl. And all we know is that some sort of outbreak or something has happened and made people go a little mad. And there have been deaths, but we don't know what caused it or the extent of what it is. Like, we don't know if these people are turning into zombies. We don't know anything surrounding that. I can't remember the guy's name. He is possibly autistic or has Asperger's. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry. He doesn't deal with crowds well. He continuously refers to, like, outside of his house, everything that goes on is just loudness, and he can't stand it. It takes a lot of effort for him to even work up the courage to go outside, so he might be a little agoraphobic as well. And he has a wife who all we know is she's been missing, or she left a couple months ago, so like 6 months ago, and there is a lady who goes in and checks on him. So we don't exactly know what happened to his wife. Eric and I both have theories. I think the older gentleman might have a little bit of dementia onset. So I think his wife probably passed away a couple months ago and he doesn't remember, or she had to go into an assisted living or a nursing home and he doesn't remember that either. Which typically, if that's the case, married couples in assisted living homes typically get like an apartment in the home together. So he would have moved with her, I think, unless it's something even more than what I'm thinking. And then the little girl, she was pulled out of school. She and her mom rushed back to their house and had to pack up, and they were supposed to meet her dad somewhere. But her mom ended up leaving her in a shed and told her she would be back soon. So at this point, the little girl is still in the shed, and the old man, he doesn't have like a cell phone. He doesn't really keep up with the TV. He finally tried to turn the TV on and it's pure static. He tried to get the radio to work, but it wasn't working. So he likes to tinker with things. He likes to take them apart and put them back together. So he did that with the radio and found that he basically needed to borrow the antenna from an old TV that he has outside. And so he has finally opened his door and he's seen the carnage that's outside, and then locked himself back away. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this next section will tell us and what will unfold. I hope we actually get to learn what caused the outbreak, because that's one of my biggest peeves about The Walking Dead, is we never found out what caused the outbreak to begin with. And I hated that. So we'll see, but I think their storylines are gonna merge here in the next section, and they're gonna help each other through this time, and we're gonna get more answers and things like that. I also listened to one whole chapter of Written in My Own Heart's Blood, so not super far in there. Can't really say much of what's going on other than there's shenanigans going on like normal. yeah, I think that's about it for my update right now. I've got my violin lesson today, so I will be listening. I'll be attending that via Zoom meeting here and at 4 o'clock. And then we typically on Tuesdays, we typically do an easy dinner and then hang out and watch an episode or two of The Sopranos after. So I'm anticipating that's what our evening's going to be like, but I'm not sure. Skylar just got home, so I'm going to go check in with him now and spend time with him before my lesson. So I will. Oh, I also have another poll up on Instagram to help decide what book I'm going to read next. It is between Crimson Dagger parts 1 and 2, which is the prequel to Fallen Kingdoms. It is basically Prince Magnus's backstory. And I also have All I Want Is Everything up there. Those are the two against each other, which is the next book in the Gossip Girl series. So right now Crimson Dagger is winning, but I will check in later on that poll once I'm ready to read, basically. So yeah, I think that's all my reading updates. Started 2 books yesterday and finished 2 books yesterday. And I'm about to start another book today. So I'll still have 3 books going. I'll have potentially 2 Kindle books or a Kindle book and a physical book and an audio book. But anyway, that's going to be it for right now. So I will definitely check in with you tomorrow and let you know what book I picked up next. All right, quick check-in because it's been a couple days, I think. I started and finished Crimson Dagger by Morgan Rhodes on Tuesday. It was a very, very short novella, only 24 pages on my Kindle. And I didn't put it through my normal rating system. I just gave it a flat 3-star rating. It is a novella, I think, that takes place 2 years before the events of Fallen Kingdoms. And we just follow Prince Magnus and the story of an event that took place when he was 7 years old, and then flashing forward to kind of the aftermath of it as he's 17. So we get a little bit more of insight into him, but not too much. But it was still an interesting read. So I'm glad I got that done. And then I was going to start a physical book, another physical book. I was going to pick up All I Want Is Everything by Cicely von Ziegler. But I think Eric and I are the only ones left in our buddy read of Vanishing Hour, so we are actually speeding it up a little bit. If the other person's still reading, they haven't bothered to say anything in our chat. So it's just been Eric and I continuing to chat about it, and he just kind of took off running with the book yesterday. I think we ended at the same spot, but I essentially read 2 sections last night, so I think I'll get through another 2 sections tonight. And then I might only have 1 section after that, I think. So we'll see how that goes, but it's going pretty well so far. We've been introduced to new characters, and one thing I like is that the event that caused people to die is actually explained, and the survivors that are picked, there's an explanation as to why as well, which I really appreciate. That's one thing that really drove me bonkers about The Walking Dead. I'm not current on it at all, but it drove me bonkers that you never found out what caused the zombie outbreak and things like that. So I'm glad that we got to hear that. As of right now, there's no zombies. I don't think there is going to be any zombies, but we are being introduced to more characters who have survived, and just kind of the craziness of that. You have your kind of typical apocalypse plot where there is one person who decides to take control and doesn't really let people have a decision on whether or not they join their group. So we've got a bit of that going on, and it's just interesting to read. So I like the take on this, and I'm interested to see how the book wraps itself up. I think I'm 50% of the way through now, so I should have it. If I don't finish it tonight, should definitely have it finished tomorrow night. So I will give you a wrap up probably Saturday morning once I'm done there. And then I'm still just listening to Written in My Own Heart's Blood. Same old shenanigans going on in there. Can't really talk about much because I'm sure people who read the books or watch the show don't want to be spoiled. And since the show is only up to season 5, which I think, if I haven't watched any of the show yet, I think it follows the books pretty well. I'm essentially in what would be season 8, so I don't want to say what goes on, just to not spoil things for people. But group's getting up to shenanigans, things are being revealed, and all that good stuff. So I think I'm gonna go make a bag of popcorn and maybe watch an episode of One Calls the Heart. I was writing out some thank you cards for the wedding. I've got one more to write out to send in the mail tomorrow, but I think I'm gonna wait to do it until tomorrow morning because it should be quick. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna relax a bit now, and if I've got some reading updates, I will definitely give them to you tomorrow.
How many?
2.5. But the price difference was only on this. $5.50. Price difference.
So it's been a couple days since my last check-in, and I guess I have some updates. Let's start out with, I got April's Geek Gear box. So I'll just quickly show you what I got. I'm not gonna like unwrap anything. I've already looked at it because I let Maddie help me with it yesterday. But the shirt this time I really like. It's a pumpkin juice shirt. And I think that's really fun, especially for October, which is a couple months away, but that's okay. I thought we were gonna get, and I don't know if maybe I missed 2 of the t-shirts, but I thought we were gonna get the last 2 of the dragon t-shirts. I do have the Hungarian horntail and the Swedish short snout, so I'm missing the Welsh green and the Chinese fireball. And I swear I saw a picture somewhere of the Welsh green, so I don't know if maybe that was like the 2 months previous to when I had subscribed, but we didn't get a dragon shirt last month, and this month wasn't a dragon shirt either, so I'm not sure about that or anything. But other items, we got another one of the espresso mugs. This is a Veritaserum which just says 3 drops only, Hogwarts Apothecary Department. So another little one of those to add. We got another chess piece. This one is a pawn, which is pretty cool. There's this token for the Ministry of Magic. I'm holding it upside down. That looks like that. It's got the, I'm sure, Latin saying around it, which I don't exactly know what that means. I'm sure I did at one point, but I don't know now. But I think that's pretty cool. It's a really hefty little thing, so that'll be good for like picture props and stuff if I ever get good at actually taking pictures. I was kind of right about what the hint was for last month. It had the prefect bathroom in it for Goblet of Fire. And so we got this card that has the stained glass window of the mermaid, and on the back it just has the quote that was inside the golden egg. There is a little, you probably can't see it right here, there's a little cutout, so you could pop that out and probably put a tag in or a tassel and then make it a bookmark. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure what its function would be. And then there is a wand. This one is the, it's another community artist design, and it's called the Crystallo wand, which I think is pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of pink, so I kind of wish these were different colors, but it's got this interesting, just kind of carved in design. And it kind of looks like a candle melting to me almost. But I think that's a lot of fun. And then the last item is a poster. And this one I actually really like. And it is just a print of a demiguise. So that's pretty cool. I'll definitely hang on to this one. So let's see, information. You've got, yep, the exclusive t-shirt. You've got exclusive Wizard's Chess Pawn Piece replica. The exclusive wand. It looks like this one was designed by Annette Peterson. There is the quintaped community artist artwork, which was done by Ashley Foster, and you can find her on Instagram at ashleyfoster_art. There's the exclusive Wizengamot coin, and then the exclusive, okay, it is a bookmark, the exclusive Prefect Bathroom Mural bookmark. And then the licensed and exclusive Veritaserum Espresso mini mug. The next hint has Umbridge on it, and there's a sign that they are sitting their OWLs. So not sure what that will be, but I'm interested to find out. I think I've got 2 more months left of this. I signed up for a 6-month subscription, so I believe I've got 2 more months, and I think I'm gonna get another maybe 6 months after. We'll see how the next 2 months go. I like this book. I don't think this box, I don't think it was necessarily as strong as last month's, but last month's also had a potion in it, and I really liked that. So I think that's okay. But these items are pretty functional. I mean, some of them are decorative pieces. I like that there's a bookmark, though. I always love another bookmark. And they're good little prop pieces. Again, maybe one day I will actually learn how to take pictures. As far as reading goes, Friday I listened to Written in My Own Heart's Blood, and I also finished Vanishing Hour and chatted with Eric about that. I think our other person we were doing the buddy read with dropped out. I've not heard from her, so I assume they never caught up. And Eric and I had our own little Twitter message going, so which we had started from the get-go before the other two had even dropped out. So we had just been chatting the whole time. and we both have pretty similar feelings about the book. I think he's giving it a 4-star rating. I'm giving it, I don't do half stars. If I did, it would be a 3.5, but it's just a high 3-star for me. And I really enjoyed, I thought it was an interesting new take on the whole post-apocalyptic thing and who gets impacted by whatever is spread. Um, I I like the dynamic between Matthew and Ruby a lot. Matthew reminds me a lot of a mix between Carl from Up and Uva from A Man Called Uva. He just kind of has that like crotchety old man set in his ways attitude towards him, but he also has a really soft spot, especially when it comes to Ruby. And I just think that they both grew really well, both together and individually throughout the story. And I like that there is an animal in this because I feel like most post-apocalyptic post oh my gosh most post-apocalyptic stories, the animals all just disappear, and you don't know like if they're also impacted by the virus or whatever outbreak there was, or if they've just disappeared because people have needed food or what. But there was an animal in this, and I think that always brings just a better level of like development to the story. I don't know, but I enjoyed this a lot. I think it was really good for a debut novel, and I would be interested to see what else Lisa King comes up with in the future. I don't know if this one was a 2020 release. I'll have to look that up. Actually, I can do that right now. But yeah, I thought it was interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else she comes out with next. I'm just looking it up on Goodreads right now. It was okay, so it was published March 31st of 2020, which is really cool. Other than that, Written in My Own Heart's Blood is going well. It starts out in, what year is it? 1776, 1780 something? I don't remember what it was. Following the characters back then, and then we also jump up to, I think it's 1980 now. And things have happened. There's some not good things going on, obviously, because you got to keep the story going. So enjoying that. Lots of shenanigans, like I always say. And then I started the next book in the Gossip Girl series, which is All I Want Is Everything. This one takes place kind of over Christmas break. I think that's mostly when it takes place, is over Christmas break. So I've only got a few more books left before I get through all the books that I have read previously, and then I'm into basically all new territory, which will be nice. I don't remember much of this story at all, so we'll see what happens. Today is Mother's Day. We just spent an afternoon, Sky and I, we had to take Maddie back and drop him off at 10 this morning, so we missed out on quite a few hours with him because it's our weekend with him. But obviously Mother's Day, he needs to be with his mom, so we took him back this morning, and then Sky and I, when I got home, we washed our cars. He washed the cars. I was the water person. And then we just spent the afternoon hanging out in my parents' backyard under their patio, just enjoying time together. I did get a new Kindle for Mother's Day. It's a Paperwhite. I have taken it out of the bag and the box, but we were next door and I was trying to set it up and I couldn't. We weren't close enough for me to connect to our Wi-Fi here. So I just put it back in the box and the covering just to keep all like the pollen and dust off it. But this is I think it's the newest one. I don't know what number it is, but I know it's the one that you can use Audible with. Oh, it looks like 10th generation, That's what it is. So I'll be interested to set this up. I'm gonna give Skylar my fire. So that way, he said he might prefer to read on a Kindle more than he would holding a book. So if I can get him to read that way, that's totally fine. I think he might enjoy reading on the fire. And if he wants to read any comic books too, he can do that with the fire. So we'll have to start getting him some Kindle books. And then I got a card from Sky's mom and dad, and it had these Harry Potter stickers in it, which are just like the, I don't really know what they are, but there's 10 sheets that have these two repeat, and then this is like the back and the front of the card here. So you can use them for things, but I think that's really fun. So that's about it, I think. I am going to wrap this up here because I want to edit this video and just spend the rest of the evening with Skylar. So that's what I'm going to do. I need to, while I'm editing, I'm going to sign up for some workshops to get back into school. So get those set up and get those done as quickly as possible so that way I can get my start date confirmed and all that good stuff. So I'm going to do that while I edit. And then we'll probably end up watching some of The Sopranos this evening. I think that's pretty good. I got a little sunburnt. Hopefully it turns into a bit of a tan. I'm a little worried because we were going to get married with, like, we did get married. We were going to have our wedding with all our friends and family this spring, and I was like, oh, it'll be perfect. I'll be, like, pasty, won't have to worry about tan lines, like, all that good stuff. Like, I wasn't going to get a spray tan or anything. And now, that we've rescheduled for hopefully the end of August, it's like, oh, I have to be careful about tan lines and burns and all that good stuff. So I've already got a start, and I was wearing sunscreen. I just burn quite easily because I'm a very fair lady, but that's not really important. So I'm going to wrap this up here. I hope you all had a really lovely week, and if you have anyone to celebrate Mother's Day with, I hope you got to send them your love, even if you weren't able to celebrate in person. And I'd just love to know what you read this week. I finished 3 books and started 3 books. So I've got 2 books now to carry over for, that's pretty much my norm, is 2 books to carry over for the next week. But yeah, I would just love to know what you read this week and if you found any new favorites. And I'll chat with you down in the comments until my next video. Bye.